Alright, so let's go, but now let's go into really rendering the scene out. So far I have this animation set up. I did a play blast. I played it back to see if I like my camera lighting, if I like my lights. So, you might want to go back and, just kind of do a snapshot of each frame to see how it looks. So, I went ahead and, I'm rendering right in the middle here. I can see right now most of my scene is black, right? So it's rendering out sort of the black background here, and then it's going to go render down to the bottom here. So we should see the ball coming up pretty soon. I'm not sure why it takes so long to render nothing up here, but that's just how it is. Okay, so now we see the ball, and we're starting to see the ground. And so, as I render these two, I might want to make a few more adjustments. So, the shadow is, right now, since I have the rendering on turned pretty low, the quality on pretty low, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of detail, right? So there's the ball, there's the shadow, it's very aliased. And let's take a look at the other parameters in the render settings. So let's go to the render settings here, and we go to the Maya software. So you'll notice you have a bunch of different things here. Last time we talked about the ray tracing, and we didn't really go into too much detail on what all these other items here, but you can change the quality up for, and I'm just going to change this up to production quality. So, if you want to mess with the lights and things like that and mess with, the reflectivity of your material, you might want to change that. So let's go into our window and go to our rendering editor, Hypershade. And, it just, I'm going to make this a little bit more flashy. So let's go ahead and change the reflectivity. We'll make it a little more reflective, so hopefully we see more of the ball in there. And again, you can go and go ahead and render the beginning and end. If you want to just go ahead and render snapshots of those, so you could get an idea how the lighting looks and everything, how everything looks in the scene. You can do that, and then you can kind of play around with your lights. And again, I only put one light in the scene. I'd recommend you put like 3 lights. So usually I put in my key light, which in this case is a directional light. I might put a point light as a sort of a backlight, which is sort of the light that comes in. We're faking out what reflects back, any light that reflects back, sort of. And so that's where you'll see kind of bounce back in the shadowing area here. And then a lot of times I'll add in another light, just an ambient light, just to light the whole scene up. But I'm not going to do that right now. The ambient light kind of flattens things out, and I always put it in last because I want it to be on a very low intensity setting, unlike some of the other lights. But let's go ahead now and let's assume that we've set up our lights, and these are whole other tutorials that get deep into lighting and rendering. And let's just talk about really how we can launch this render now, since it's all set to go. So again, we'll go back to our render settings, and we'll go back to the Common tab here. So we want to go back to the Common tab here, and we want to make sure that our output is all set, right? So our output should be set here to go to, it's going to go to a specific path. So right now I named the file, and so in my project settings, and you want to make sure that you set your project and you set it to the current one that you want to use. So I'm going to skip this because I already have the project set to my bouncing ball project. But if you don't have a project yet, make sure you go ahead and set one up. So make sure you go to the project window, and if you don't have one set already, you want to do that. You want to set up a new project here.